Hello and welcome to Badminton Unlimited. Coming up, this week we catch up with Denmark's Hans-Kristian Solberg Vittinghus as he opens up about how the pandemic has impacted his career. Plus, the secret behind his thrilling display at the TOTAL Thailand Open.
I went into the second game believing it was good for me with the current situation, but I still believed I would have to work really hard.
And our experts rate the long-awaited return of world number one, Kento Momota, at the recent YONEX All England Open 2021.
But little touch shots from Momota, those little neck spins for which he was absolutely famous, he just wasn't able to make them in the same way.
Hans-Kristian Solberg Vittinghus is an ever-present figure in Denmark's men's singles department. While the attention has been on his younger teammates, the 35-year-old's thrilling outing at the TOTAL Thailand Open showed he still has plenty to offer at the highest level.
It's a huge achievement. It's in terms of individual achievements, one of the very biggest achievements for me. Of course, I would like to win the final as well, but just being in a final and being able to fight for one of the biggest titles in badminton is amazing for me. Especially considering how many years it's been since I've actually been at that level.
We sat down with the veteran in Bangkok as he opened up about his career amid the global pandemic.
I think it's been a very mixed period this whole time during 2020 with no tournaments, because on one hand, I've enjoyed a lot of time back home with my family, and I've had more time to focus on my training and just have a more calm, everyday life than what I'm used to with no traveling. We didn't know when the next tournament was going to be, and there wasn't really anything to chase after anymore. So I kind of lost my way in training a little bit, and I just trained for the sake of training and not really with a goal at mind. So as soon as the Asian leg actually was confirmed that it would be a thing, I was preparing for that and really hoping to be part of it. Obviously, with my ranking, I didn't know that I was going to be playing or not, but I thought this is a good opportunity for me to actually have something to look forward to and be more focused in my training again. Without the support of my family, there would be no badminton career for me. My wife, Selina, is also quite ambitious with her dressage career. She's a horse rider. We have a small son, Vincent, who is turning 3 years old. So it's obviously quite a task juggling her career and my career at the same time. But we have my family living close by to help with Vincent. Yeah, we are pretty clear about my career being the highest priority, no doubt about that. And we need to be that as well, as to have a chance of me performing at this level. If you want to be a world-class competitor, you need to have this as your first priority. So my family is very understanding and very supportive, and I can guarantee you if they weren't, I would not even be sitting here doing this interview. I'm extremely privileged to be part of that group, and I would say those 3 guys are a big reason why I'm still playing at the level I am. They make it fun to come to training every day because they push me to try and do my best. If I don't do my best there, I have no spot in the team. There's no point for me in being there. So I owe them a big thanks for keeping me at this level at 35. I think there's a great atmosphere between us. We are, of course, colleagues on one hand, but I would also say that we are good friends on the other, which also makes all the international matches against each other a bit more awkward in some ways, because you play against some of your good friends for big money and titles. We're pretty used to it in men's singles in Denmark that we have this kind of atmosphere, and that's also part of the reason behind it, that we are very good at passing on the knowledge and experience. But I would say I'm not passing on much experience to Victor and Anders anymore, because they are generally at a higher level than I am, and they've experienced more big matches than I have. That Thomas Cup team in 2016 was just very special. We had such a great time in terms of the social life there. We make everyone feel like they're really part of the team and they're there for a reason, even if you are only the reserve player. We play with the ones we think are best on the day, but we're all there for a reason. We all deserve to be there, and we're all good friends. So we're basically just having a good time. And when you have a good time off court, it's also easier to have a good time on court and play your best. No doubt about that. And if we didn't have that kind of atmosphere, we would never have won in 16, because we didn't have the best team on paper. Yeah, we had, of course, a contending team, and we had the team spirit that was needed to win. I'm not sure if there will ever be a day where I'll say I'm 100% ready to quit. I love the sport too much, I love competing too much. But I've said to my wife and also to my sponsor that the World Championships at home in 2023 in Denmark would be a very nice place to finish. If it's realistic at all for me to qualify, I don't know, but at least all my sponsorship contracts are running until the end of 2023, so maybe I'll be ready at that time, but I'll say that I'll never be ready to quit badminton. I will always play badminton. Even when I quit professionally, I want to carry on. I love the game, and I always will. So I want to carry on for as long as possible, also professionally, and as long as it makes sense to me and my family. I went into the tournament with a feeling that I was moving in the right direction. I had some good meetings with my coach, Kento before we got here, and I had a really good stint of training leading up to this event after the Denmark Open in October. I've had 2-3 months of really good training, so I felt I was well prepared. I felt I was moving in the right direction, but to be honest, I did not expect to be a finalist in one of these events, for sure not. My results have not been the best over the past few years. So again, I would say I felt like I was moving the right direction again, but to be this far ahead already, I was definitely not expecting that. But even though I lost the first round in the first tournament here, I actually came out of that match with a really positive feeling as well. I think I played a great match against my teammate Hans-Kristian Solberg. So I was pretty uplifted by that actually, and I had a good feeling going into to week 2, and turned out that there was a good reason behind that as well.
Play.
Often I find the first game to be a bit more tight, where the disadvantage and advantage of the sides are not playing as big as a part. So I thought if I could just keep it close until the end of the first game, then the pressure would be really huge on Anders, because after we changed sides, I would be on the good side. And had he lost the first game, he would be under a lot of pressure. So that was my reasoning behind starting on the worst side. I didn't have a lot of tactical points that I had to do or that I needed to avoid doing. I just wanted to fight really hard. I wanted to keep it tight, and I wanted to keep my composure and like my mental approach to be stable all the way. So not be frustrated if I was down by a few points, or if he made a few lucky shots or whatever. I wanted to be mentally stable and keep it close, and that was exactly what happened in the end. And I could feel that when I caught up at around 18 all, I really had a chance, and if I could grab that chance, it would be very difficult for him in the second game.
Great left.
He's controlling the drift
Yeah.
really well,
Yeah.
Vittinghus.
Would you believe it? Opening game. Puts this away with venom.
Yeah, he really went for that one.
I went into the second game believing it was good for me with the current situation, but I still believed I would have to work really hard but I also knew I could push him around because I was playing against the drift, so I could really apply a lot of pressure to the back of the court for him, make it really hard for him. But I would say around 4-5-0, I just looked at him, I could kind of feel that he was not really in the game mentally, the way I know him. I know from training, I know from matches back home in Denmark that if he's into his game mentally, you can just feel it. And I felt at that moment that he was not there anymore. So at that point, I thought I just need to avoid making strings of errors. I don't remember the last time I even won a game off Victor in training, but I adjusted pretty quickly my mindset and started thinking about how cool it was to actually get a chance to play Victor in that kind of shape in a final for a big title. So I went on court with every intention to give everything, and also I actually did believe that I could rattle him a little bit, make him insecure if I could get my game working. All the way up until I hurt my abs in the end of the second game, I was actually enjoying the experience. Even though I got absolutely destroyed on court, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and even though I scored 11 and 7 points, I actually felt like I played at a decent level in the final. Victor was just at a completely different level.
Welcome back. Hans-Kristian Solberg Vittinghus taking on Lee Chuk-yu in the quarterfinals of the Toyota Thailand Open was one of the highlights at the Super 1000 tournament. Stretched to a deciding game, Vittinghus recalls his triumph in an entertaining contest.
Yeah, it was a crazy match, and I think it was a match at a really high level from both of us. I have so much respect for Lee Chuk-yu's game. He's such a good attacking player. His smashes are unbelievable. So I knew going into the match, if I was to stand a chance, I would need to be on my best game, especially in terms of my defense. I think I made that work tremendously.
Good reactions again from the Dane.
4-3.
Well done there by Lee. Very nicely done. Lee in vain tried to save that. That has gone out, and it is Lee who takes that first game. Nice drives there and a good finish from Vittinghus. If anything, it's Vittinghus who's looking reinvigorated.
The only thing I'm not happy about in that match is the fact that I threw away a lead in the third game. I think I had 17, 11 or 12, and he caught back from that.
It's out, it's out. Oh, right at the net. Oh dear, Vittinghus again, unforced, and that is tremendous. Oh, threw himself absolutely everywhere, Vittinghus, but to no avail.
I was getting really nervous in the end, the last few points, no doubt about that. After I blew that 17-12 lead, I was beginning to think about the consequences of losing and what I would be saying when if I blew this kind of lead. And obviously that's not the best thoughts to have on court. But what I'm really pleased about is the fact that I still dared and believed enough in myself to actually do the things I needed to do.
Again.
Was the shuttle? Lee, come here, Lee.
Again, he's asking about where the shuttle was, where the shot was made.
Match point. 19.
Match point.
Lee.
The rally on 19-all, even though I touched the net, I did the right thing. I played the net and I tried to actually kill the next one instead of just taking the more defensive approach and waiting for him to make a mistake. I actually tried to create the opportunity for myself. I got quite a lucky break, but I also feel other times in my career I've been the unlucky one. So yeah, I think I deserved it that way, that I was actually seeking the opportunity to win the game, and that's what I'm mostly proud of, because there's absolutely no denying that I was quite nervous at 19-all, no doubt about it.
Okay.
Well, that's an unfortunate way to end the match for Lee, but it's a victory shout there for Vittinghus. But it has been
20-22, 21,
an epic battle between the two.
I've believed for the past many years that I still have the abilities to compete at this level, but yeah, my results hasn't really shown that. I've only shown it in 1 or 2 matches here and there, but being able to keep believing for so many years that it would come at some point, I'm proud of that, and I'm also very happy that it paid off in the end. If I could get an actor to play me in a movie, I would no doubt choose Johnny Depp. I think he's an amazing actor and he's my favorite by far, so it would be Johnny Depp. Anything from the 90s is a sure hit for me. I grew up with that kind of music. I know it's not the best music, perhaps, but it just makes me in a really good mood, and I will start dancing if you put on a hit from the 90s. Evil Michael Learntorag, he's also amazing, or that group is amazing, and Danish, so I have to support them. I think I would be probably Superman, because I would really love to be able to fly. One famous person I would like to have dinner with is the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. He just qualified my team, the Chiefs, to the Super Bowl for the 2nd straight year, and I would love to have a chat with him. He's an amazing athlete and the quarterback of my favorite team, so what would be cooler than talking to him? If I could bring a badminton fan to my house and I was all out of Indomie, then I would probably make frikadelle, which is a traditional Danish dish. It's some sort of meatballs. It's a bit hard to describe, but it's very delicious. Whew, that's a good question. I think I'm actually very good at doing the dishes, and that's not even a joke. I enjoy doing the dishes, I'm good at it, so that will be my hidden talent. I would have the ability to read other people's minds. I would love to have that ability. So if I had one wish, I would wish for that ability to be mine. But I would want to be able to control it so I didn't read people's mind all the time, just whenever I wanted to.
After overcoming 14 months of tribulation, Kento Momota finally made his return at the YONEX All England Open 2021, to the delight of his fans and media. BWF commentators Gillian Clark and Morten Frost, who followed his progress in Birmingham, graded the performance of the Japanese at his comeback tournament.
Well, first of all, I have to say just how wonderful it's been to see him back. I mean, he's had such a traumatic time. He was in that car accident, which, of course, the driver was fatally injured, and he's come back from that. He's had to have an operation. He then was going to make his return to international badminton in January. Then he tested positive for COVID. He's had more than his fair share of problems. And I think to see him back is just delightful, because he's such a mega star to me. He's such a wonderful ambassador for the sport of badminton, because he's not only is he the best player in the world, he's world #1, but the way he conducts himself as well. As far as how he's performed, we can't seriously expect him to take up where he left off. That's unrealistic. That's not going to happen.
I think it's a very, very tall order. It's a tough one for Momota to come back after such a long time not having played, getting into match practice, really getting into it.
I know from what I've read that he's been training really hard. That's great. He looked in great physical condition. But there's a huge difference between being physically fit and match fit. And I think that was really exemplified here at the All England, because there is a big difference between those two things.
With the slaying of a second successive Indian opponent, then Kento Momota marches on in Birmingham. He's never taken a game, Li Xixia, off of Kento. So this today is going to be a really tough ask.
There's been so much expectation. People like us in the media, we've been anticipating his return, longing to see him back. He's been put up for a very prestigious award, the Laureus Awards of the best comeback. I think all those expectations have weighed very heavily on his shoulders. That probably showed through, I think, in his defeat to Li Xixia.
やっぱりちょっと余裕のなさから、慌ててしまって、簡単なミスが多かったかなと思います。
Yeah, too much on it. Viciously struck from Momota. Oh, nice. A little bit of showmanship, don't we? Love that.
この試合の緊張感を味わえたのは、すごく良かったですし、また次につなげていけたらいいかなと思います。
I think he's been very honest about how he was feeling during the match, and I really admire him for that. He's not holding anything back, which I think is nice. I also felt that Li Xixia was really taking his chance. He was playing well. He was very solid in what he was doing. It's a little bit easier when you play as the underdog and not having the expectations on your shoulders. So that was, of course, to the advantage of Li Xixia.
Nice block shot there, not like him.
I think that we should give credit to the Malaysian. I thought he was absolutely superb. He was really concentrated. He played the right sort of game. But little touch shots from Momota, those little net spins for which he was absolutely famous, he just wasn't able to make them in the same way. So it comes back to that, whether that's nerves or whether that's lack of match practice, I don't know.
From Momota.
He's just a little bit insecure in all various departments. His defense is not as solid, his accuracy is not as good as what he used to be, but it takes time. He will be back, I have no doubts.
You know, you don't become a bad player overnight, but he's only played one tournament in about 14 months. I think once he's got over this first tournament back, I think we will see, and I hope, desperately hope, that we see a resurgence of the wonderful Kento Momota that we know and love.
That's all the time that we have But join Tom Jiquel and Delphine Delroux next week as the French duo plan to shake up the established order in mixed doubles.
We knew that we can play at this level, at the top level, because we beat two pairs in the top 5 of the world.
In the meantime, remember to log on to bwfworldtour.bwfbadminton.com for the latest news and features on the sports. Until next time, it's goodbye.